Hello everyone, it's Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. Let me make sure my sound is intact. I was lying down and Harvey Lewis, shout out to Harvey Lewis for sending me this. Okay, good. Apparently an hour after Trump pulled out of or broke the international agreement with Iran and the rest of the world, essentially the UK, France, Germany, Russia, China, broke the law or broke international, it's not the law, but broke the international agreement with those countries. Israel attacked Iranian installations in Syria. Now, this is getting dangerous whether you realize this or not. We have no idea what's the disposition of Russia in this. We have no idea what the disposition of the European nations are going to be from an economic standpoint. We have no idea what's taking place around the world. And Israel has taken time out from murdering Palestinians to attacking military installations in in Syria. Iran has already said they are not going to tolerate Israel continuing to do this. It's like the child with the big brother, knowing that the big brother is always going to back him up. Well, this is dangerous. What takes place if Iran attacks Israel? And here's the other thing. The United States has come out saying, we think it's likely that Iran will attack Israel in some way. How? In some way. In some way. They are setting up a justification to attack Iran. The pretext, this is just the beginning. The attacks that they're taking place in Syria right now on Iranian installations is just a prelude. They are ramping up for more. If Iran attacks Israel, what happens? Think about that. If Iran attacks Israel, what happens? Here's another one. If Israel attacks Syria and ends up killing some Russian troops who just so happen to be in that particular area working in coordination with the Iranian forces, what happens? If Russia responds, destroying those installations that attack their installations, what does the United States do? This is a powder keg. Let's read the story. I'm not going to keep this long. Let's see. Israel attacked Syria an hour after Iran deal was ended, says report. Syrian state-run media said Israel struck a military outpost near the capital of Damascus on Tuesday, saying its air defenses intercepted and destroyed 2 of the incoming missiles. The reported attack came an hour after Donald Trump announced he was withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal, calling Tehran a main exporter of terrorism in the region. This is so Orwellian and comical. These people just aren't serious at this point. That's the most terrifying thing to me from the standpoint of the time we're living in. They're not serious. There's no rules. Meaning they say whatever they want. It doesn't really matter how ridiculous it is. They go with it. Iran is a state supporter of terrorism. When we are friends with Saudi Arabia, can you, there's nothing more ridiculous and Orwellian to be allied with Saudi Arabia while at the same token pointing to Iran saying they're exporting terrorism. That is bizarre and Orwellian. And the news media doesn't call them on this at all. They let that slide. In fact, I have a video that I'm going to do talking about how the media is complicit in allowing these wars to take place. And if the media wasn't behind these wars would not happen. These wars would not happen. Media galvanizes public opinion in many respects. And in galvanizing public opinion, it could be for war. It could be neutral, which is in the standpoint of really just kind of being stenographers for the government making their case for war. Or they could be against it. It's happened in the past. Reporters turning against the Vietnam War put a knife in this idea of how war was being fought and rah-rah and all this other stuff. Once they turned against that war, the president and the government could not sustain their war effort. They didn't have the public opinion or public backing. Let's keep going. This is disastrous. The official news agency of Sana said, without elaborating, that the attack occurred in the countryside of Kishwe, just south of Damascus, an area known to have numerous Syrian army bases. Syrian television earlier reported large explosions in the area. The Britain-based observatory, Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, said quote-unquote human rights, said the missile targeted deposits the rocket launchers that likely belonged to the Iran's elite Revolutionary Guard in Kishway, killing 9 people. They've just murdered 9 people. The group, which closely monitors the Syrian war through a network of activists on the ground, said it was not clear. Activists, we don't know what that means, because we don't know what they mean by the term activists. The Syrian observatory thing has been so much sketchy, and the information has been given back, and there's been questions about it. Said it was not clear whether those killed were Revolutionary Guard members or members of pro-Iranian militia. The report could not be identified and independently confirmed. I'm glad they put that in. An official with the Iran-led regional alliance supporting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad said the strike targeted a Syrian army position but killed a Syrian man and his wife who happened to be passing by in their car. He said there were jets in the sky, but it was likely position was targeted by surface-to-surface missiles from Golan Heights. The official spoke on condition of anonymity because he was not authorized to give an official statement. There was no immediate comment from Israel, which almost never confirms or denies airstrikes in Syria. It's like, we never confirm when we're murdering people. Yeah, that's good. Most murderers don't. Such strikes have become more frequent recently amid soaring tensions between regional archenemies Israel and Iran. The reason that Israel is so hawkish on this deal is because Israel has a nuclear missile. Israel gets billions of dollars in military aid from the United States, and they want to maintain regional supremacy in that region. While screaming that nobody wants an Israeli state, they insistently have this apartheid state where they prevent another country, essentially militarily occupying another country, stealing the land of that country. Orwellian, saying they don't want us to have a state. This is all about dominating that particular region. They don't want a regional power from the standpoint of Iran to have any kind of presence. They don't want this to be this kind of deal. They want domination. They want complete and utter capitulation. No government is going to give them complete and utter capitulation. The question is, what does the European powers do for this? I'm completely curious on this. You have rogue nations at this point. The United States and Israel are rogue nations. They're flagrantly breaking international law, and I've come to the conclusion that there is no such thing as international law. It doesn't exist. It's there purely for the thing of using as a club to hit other nations. The fact is, the economically and military supremacy of the United States just flounce it. The UK flounce it anytime they want. The big brother, the United States, allows it. If the United States is not going to put sanctions, if we're not going to take a particular position on it, for the most part, they let it pass. We killed 1 million people, and they let that pass. And now they're ramping up to do something similar in Iran. I understand all of these people out there saying, oh, it's not war. Oh, it's not war. Or this, well, what about what Obama did? I thought all of those things were wrong. I didn't like us going into Syria. I thought it was bogus. I called it so. I didn't want us going in Libya. I thought it was bogus. I called it so. Donald Trump, regardless of what other people may be telling you, is taking steps with a maniac, Mike Pompeo, and a maniac, John Bolton, to attack Iran. All of the steps that he's taken up to this point, one step at a time, has inched him forward to that. And I think what you will find is if you look at security analysis from other countries, they will be talking about the same thing. The reason why some of these countries are taking this position is not purely because they're worried about Iran having missiles. They're worried about Iran being attacked. That's what this comes down to. At the end of the day, people's hair is on fire because they are concerned that Iran is going to be attacked by the United States, Israel, or both, or Israel inching the United States into a larger war with Israel. That's what they're concerned about. And yeah, Saudi Arabia is playing a role in this too, so don't misunderstand me. I'm just saying, these regional powers are lining up, using the United States, the bravery, leveraging the bravery of our soldiers for their political ends. Israel is, for all intents and purposes, attacking Iran. An hour after that deal was signed, they thought it was perfectly okay to just attack Iran. And while we're at it, to get more Orwellian, this. U.S. officials growing increasingly concerned Iran could attack Israel. That's amazing. Israel has been attacking these countries Israel has been attacking Iran and Syrian installations in Iran. I'm saying Iran, but I just mean Syrian installations in Iran. Willy-nilly. And these are becoming more frequent. What happens if Iran responds? This is kind of what I'm getting at. This is what I mean when I say this is dragging us into a larger conflict. We've hitched our wagon to Israel, who is an apartheid state, and this is the shit that is causing us. And Donald Trump is going along with it. I'm going to end it here. I don't want to keep this one long. This is disastrous. That's all I'm saying. This is not a good thing. Donald Trump is not going to be able to work another deal. You can mark that shit in stone. The other leaders of those nations are not going to allow him to mark another deal, and they're going to stay with this deal. Whether the businesses in those nations bend their will to the sanctions or not, whether the EU protects those businesses from the standpoint of those sanctions and even works on behalf of those businesses, who knows? But they're not going to give up the deal. They're not going to break their pact in this way, and they're not going to allow Donald Trump to essentially pull out of another deal and get benefits from pulling out those deals. They're never going to allow that. You can't allow that. You can't negotiate with hostage takers in this way. I'll leave it here. Israel, belligerent, again breaking international law, and at this point, I made the point: international law doesn't exist. Attacking Iranian installations in Syria. The United States is worrying, apparently, that Iran may attack Israel, forgetting the fact that Israel has just attacked Iran. It's fucking Orwellian. I'll leave it here. I put the articles at the bottom. All right, guys. Have a good night.